Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. Today's little sin is uncompassion. Now uncompassion and apathy, which I did previously, they're very, very similar, but they are not really the same. See, apathy is the attitude of, I don't care. You have no feeling behind it, you just simply, who cares? What difference does it make? As compared to uncompassion, which we become uncompassionate usually due to something that has affected our feelings, or something that regards our feelings toward something. To understand uncompassion, we need the definition of compassion. And the definition is sympathetic pity or concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others. Now, the opposite of that is uncompassion, when we don't have sympathetic pity for the sufferings of others. Now, what are the reasons we become uncompassionate, or maybe are continually? One is our upbringing. Sometimes we're taught to be uncompassionate. Think of yourself first. No, you are number one. No one matters but you. Sometimes we are hurt in the past. Something happens to us, and that a person in that certain position, or a specific person in general, we have no pity for that person. Something bad happens to them and it brings us joy, of all things. Sometimes we're just plain arrogant. Sometimes we're uncompassionate because we think we're better than everybody else. So it doesn't matter, that's too bad for you, but if you were as good as me, this wouldn't have happened. Sometimes we have a strong sense of justice. What I mean by that is those people, whatever they're suffering, they deserve it. As the world calls it today, quote, karma has come to get them. So they're getting what they deserve. Sometimes our circumstances make us uncompassionate. So much happens to us, we have no room for pity for others because we're too busy pitying ourselves. And of course, selfishness. We're uncompassionate because it doesn't affect me. Better you than me, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm not affected, I really don't care what happens to you. So why is it a sin? Now, it should be obvious from my list, but I'm going to go through it anyway. There's no humility. If we think we're better than other people, we have no compassion for others, we think ourselves better, then we're certainly not humble. There's no helping of others. God requires us to help other people. And if we have no compassion on people, we're not going to help them. We become partial. Oh, you may deserve it. You're worthy of my compassion. Well, you over there, you're not worthy of it. So, and I determine whom I have compassion and on whom I don't. We scorn God. God commands us to be compassionate because He is compassionate, and when we are not, we scorn Him. Matthew 25:41-45 is a good example of that. And of course, it is selfishness. We don't want to take the time. We're thinking only of ourselves. We have no time for anybody else. So what do we do about it? First of all, we put others first. Luke 6:30-36. When you put others before yourself, you take time to be compassionate, and you have compassion on people, which we certainly should. When you're not looking out for number one, you're looking out for everybody else. That's what compassion is. That's what we need to do. Remember God's compassion for you, Romans 5:8. God loved us so much that He gave Himself for us. And even though we were sinners, we deserve justice. We deserve punishment for our sins. We deserve an eternity in hell for our sins. But God had compassion on us and came down and paid the price for us. We need to put ourselves in the situation of others. When we think, how do I want people to respond to me if I'm going through something like that? How do I want people to treat me if I'm going through trouble, if I'm having problems and I'm suffering? What do I want from other people? That's what we should be giving to those people. And compassion is the sum of it all, really. And of course, we have to forgive. Now, someone may have hurt you in the past, and you may not have compassion or pity for that person, but if you forgive them, the compassion is easier to come by. Because honestly, too, we too need to be forgiven. We are not perfect. We wrong people. We do the wrong thing. We say the wrong things. And we too don't deserve the compassion. But it's not about deserve. It's about what God commands. He is compassionate toward us, and we need to be compassionate toward others. This has been 5 Minute Ministries, and I'll see you next time.